Could you go into detail about the themes of your album?
Yeah, I can actually do that right now. Let me load up my Spotify for you. I got you. Alright, beginning with my very first debuted project that I've ever released, which is called Dark Hole, and that was released on Saturday, May 1st, 2021 at 12 p.m. And, that was about, what's so weird is, there was this person that I dated, their name was Darko, and, we broke up or whatever, corny as hell, but, we broke up or whatnot, and me being that type of person, I was like, you know what, I want to channel my thoughts into something without having to do something that I'll regret, and, that's when I just decided to make music, and I remember vividly, I made that whole EP, at my great-grandparents' house in San Diego. I used to sleep on a little pull-out bed, and I had my school laptop, I had shitty-ass school headphones, and I just remember producing everything, mixing it, and just trying to have some type of mysterious aesthetic to my name before actually using my voice the way how I'm using it now. So yeah, Dark Hole, that's about like breakups and stuff like that. Fast forward to 2022, hypersexual. Now, that that was a period of time where I did not know how I was feeling, especially like with my hormones and stuff, and so I became, I guess, what people call a freaky ass nigga, and I basically just made an album of songs of how I feel, and just about pleasure and shit like that. And then A Letter to Myself. This album was the second to last album that I dropped in San Diego before I moved out here to Texas. A Letter to Myself is just, in itself, it's just what to do moving forward and how to move on from certain situations, and it's also in a way like a goodbye in a way, because around that time, the last track on the album, actually The Last Bride, that was basically like the letter closing off and me signing off and stuff, and so that would have been my suicide or whatnot, because when I made that song, I was talking about my actual thoughts and me actually wanting to commit suicide. I wanted to make sure that this whole album, besides the bonus tracks, that they talked about how I felt and told a story. And then A Blue-Winged Monarch, that was at the time one of my best projects I've ever, and I mean ever, released. The title itself, The Blue-Winged Monarch, it's ever so rare that you see one. I don't even know if they even are blue-winged monarchs, but I know there is a blue-winged butterfly, and I saw it so many times before. And it's ever so rare that you see one. And I looked at the meaning of it, and it meant rebirth. And I realized that, like, I'm changing as a person mentally, and I'm still trying to figure out who it is that I am, and what it is that I want, and what it is that I want to acquire and achieve with my life, mentally, physically, academically, socially, whatever the case may be. And that album basically just is really just the inside of just how I feel, and just my emotions in general. And at that time when I made the album, I was going through a horrible breakup. This piece of shit ex, she cheated, manipulated, lied, gaslit the whole relationship, and we only dated for a month. And I grew overly obsessed over her. I don't understand why, but I did. And it put me, it changed who I was as a person, mentally, physically, socially. I became this monster that I didn't even think that I could get myself out of, but I did. And that led to my newest project, New Era 2025. Now, that EP, not even the EP, the album, that just talks about the process. That it's really just a reverse album. The last track on the album, 17, would have been the intro track, because the first track talks about me catching feelings for someone. The second track is about the actual relationship. The third track is about the breakup, and the fourth track talks more like it's more self-explanatory. And most of the album, it's really just the relationship and me not knowing what to do with it. And near the ending of it, there's a second to last track, Venesectia, and that's basically like the beginning of my life all the way up until the ending of it, where it's just like on the beat job, it's like a big ass stab in the chest, and then at the end it just fades out, guitar, vocal, strings, birds, and that's just me basically laying on the floor and dying basically. And then that leads into 17, which would have been the intro track. That talks about not having love in my family and shit like that. And yeah, so saying all that to say, I guess all of my albums really surround a lot of heartbreak and mental stuff, yeah.
The album you put out was supposed to be your list. Can you go into detail as to why?
At the time when I released, or rather when I was even in the creative process of this album, I wanted this to be my last album because at the time I had heavily suicidal thoughts, and I mean it was so much of it. I had planned on killing myself on my 18th birthday, which is coming up actually in 70 days, and I wanted it to, if it was going to be my last album, I wanted it to actually tell a story, and as repetitive as it can get, I wanted to just talk about, you know, stupid relationship, mental health stuff. And yeah, I put my all, as much as I can, into it, but after I released it, I realized that I still have so much more to give. I have so much more to give. I have a whole baby sister. I feel like I never do it because of the impact that I leave on so much people and what that would do to people. Because I've been told that when I first meet people, I make a first, and I mean a really good first impression on someone, and then once I get to know that person more, they tell me that I left a positive impact on people, especially in the people that I've met out here in Texas. I never lived out here before. I've only been out here for like a year, and the school that I'm at, I almost know basically everybody at the school. Everybody daps me up and stuff, and they're like, "Yo, what's good? Tenshi, blah blah blah." And I feel like part of that is just I don't know. I feel like if I can change in some way, somehow, if I can leave an impact on people, I want to do my best to change the world and um just try to bring people together. So it's definitely not my last album anymore.